go, hey, oh, here's a slingshot. How do you use this? Okay, here's a stone. If I put this and this, I can throw, you know, what 16 and 17 talks about is when he was on the other side of the mountain watching the sheep all by himself. He was writing songs, which are the Psalms. But the other thing he was doing, it talks about how he was like, see that stump? And he just was working on the stump. He's throwing the rock at the stump over and over and over until he can kill the stump. And then it talks about other animals. And I mean, then he progressively moved up to, and he practiced on the stump before he got to the Goliath. Hey, listen, it's time to practice on the stump. Seriously. It's like, you know, we every night, here's an every night thing. We at supper. We pray other times than supper. But at supper, it's like, you know, Mary wants to pray. She's working on the stump. Little Mary working on the stump. Throwing rocks at the stump. And now she's moved up. You know what she's tackling now? It's a Goliath. Because every night she prays for Mr. Larry. She was working on the stump. Working on the stump. God, give me a good night's sleep so I don't have bad dreams. Throwing it at the stump. Throwing it at the stump. And now it's like she's throwing it at Goliath for Larry. You get it? Yeah. You just don't start on that. You start on the stump. Start where you are, okay? Don't give up on, oh God, you just got to start. You have to start. Get the slingshot and the rock and just start. God, I don't know what I'm doing here. It's okay. Start. I'm going to fumble around. Fumble around. Let's fumble together. I mean, I prayed some stupid stuff. But you know what? In the middle of all these stupid things, I have seen things that would blow your mind. What God has done for me. What God has done for us and in us. Healing. All of these things. Because we started on a stump. You've got to practice. You just don't show up at Goliath and he just kicked your tail from one end to the other, and then you go, I knew it, see? I told you. I knew I couldn't trust him. Well, oh really? That's his fault? How is that his fault? It's my fault. It's back to that whole God doesn't try to put a lake in a bucket, you know, you bucket head. I'm talking to me. He's going to help me beat the stump up, and I progress my way. You know, it's okay. I got to get off. Are you with me? Okay. See, if we live from crisis to crisis with no thought of God or growth or practicing in between, we end up burning up. We can't live from crisis to crisis. It's what we do between those things that prepare us for the next one. And so we pray, we walk by faith, and we practice, and we read, and we worship, and we dig in our Bible, and we all these things so that, I mean, we talked about a couple of Wednesday nights ago about renewing our mind. It's just, we have to have the mind of Christ to walk this thing out. And so daily I'm renewing my mind. You know, and I'm not telling you what to do. This is me. I mean, I have to read my word every day somehow. I sing worship. I got up this morning. I had this song. I had this song in my heart that I woke up to. And I got my guitar and I'm, you know, picking this thing out. I woke up with this deep desire for me to worship today. And so, you know, here I am. I'm sitting in this room, you know, worshiping. But that's how I'm practicing throwing the stump. Throwing it at the stump. Throwing it at the stump. I mean, I know we have Don Pinto that pastored Belmont Church for years. What a godly man. He would talk about when they would leave on vacation. He would program his, I guess it was CD player then. It might have been a cassette player. I mean, this was years ago. He would program his stereo to just like come on for an hour on Monday at 6 o'clock and then 2 hours on Tuesday so that there would be worship in his house the whole time he was gone. He's throwing it. I mean, you know, you go, oh, that's stupid. Listen, hey, I mean, if I can be godly like Don Pinto, I'm turning to worship on when I'm gone. I don't, remember, it's an audience of one. I'm going to look, some of the things are going to look foolish. That's okay. All right. Let me go on. Number 4, we have to see God is bigger than the circumstance. Verse 17. Back to Daniel, chapter 3, verse 17. If we are thrown into this blazing furnace, the God we serve is able to save us from it, and He will rescue us from your hand. God is bigger than the circumstance. Here's the deal. You work on this yourself. This is the whole thing about worship. We have to have a huge God. Big God. Big God, little problems. Little God, big problems. Okay? Worship is the only way to get that. Where we learn to worship. Where God all of a sudden is, I see Him in His majesty and His glory. And His, Isaiah, I saw the Lord and His train filled the temple. He showed up for church and all of a sudden He shows up, the columns out in front are rocking and shaking and everything. And He walks in and He says, I am undone. I mean, the presence of God was real. Woe is me, I'm a man undone. I'm a man of unclean lips. And all of that. I mean, we got to get where we see that kind of God. Where God is bigger than my financial problem. Where God is bigger than what's going on at work or whatever. Okay? Worship puts life in perspective. Worship puts the right one on the throne. Okay? I get into trouble when I scoot him off. I think I'll take over from here. What we were talking about this. Never mind. Okay. I think I'm good. All right. I got to tell you. It was on this show, and it was a spoof on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. And so this guy answers the first question, which is worth $100. And so, then he goes, okay, now for question number 2 for $200. Nope, I'm good. I'm going to, what did he say? I'm going to fold it. I'm going to fold it up. I'm going to fold up shop. I'm going to go back to West Virginia and set up a family. Never mind. All right. Oh, goodness. I shouldn't have gone there. Number 4, what to do in a case of fire is you don't blame. You don't blame God. See, they didn't. If we're thrown into the fire, the God we serve, but even if He doesn't save us, see, you don't hear blame there. Even if He doesn't save us, we want you to know, O King, that we will not serve your gods or worship the image of gold you have set up. And I ran out of time. Jot these down, okay? Now, I'm going to stop. God, this is so good, I can't explain it. I'm going to fold up shop. All right. Okay. Quickly, tell me what you heard. Practice. Good. Who's going to start practicing? Good. Good for you. All right, what else did you hear?
Big God, little problems.
Big God, little problems. Good. Start where you are. Start where you are. Good, Steve. What else? What did you hear?
God.
I'm sorry?
Don't blame God.
Yes. Don't blame God. Somebody else.
There will be fire.
There will be fire. Yes.
Fire good.
What?
Fire good.
Amen. Fire. Good. Who else? Audience of 1. Expectations, ma'am. You find Jesus in the fire. Is that a girl? Did you find him, Jan? Yeah, you did. That a girl. Somebody else. Have to persevere.
You need a Meshach and Abednego.
I need a meat. I'll be your Meshach, buddy. We Meshach together yesterday, didn't we? Yeah.